Hello, everyone. I don't know whether this is working yet. Hopefully it will be. I don't know whether we're live yet. Are we live yet? Is it working? I think it should be. Hello, if you can hear me, say hi. Welcome to the stream. I haven't streamed in a while. What was the last stream? I think it was for the previous trailer, right? It was for the 60th trailer, which was about Touchwood a week ago, week off, roughly around that. So yeah. It should all be good. Yeah, so I'll be honest, even though obviously I've put all the news stuff that we're going to be covering in the stream today, because there is a couple of little bits, including some new details with regards to Doctor Who magazine, some new books. There's been some new details with regards to a block of Series 14 filming. It has overall been a largely pretty slow news week. So what I kind of decided to do before I went live again, because I wanted there to be stuff for us to talk about, because I think those are the most fun streams, is when, like there's stuff going on. I've tried to wait until there's enough stuff for me to talk about to basically compile it all into one stream rather than doing like a bunch of little streams or like a bunch of little videos on the topics. But how is everyone, before we get into business? How's everyone doing? Is everyone doing well? I hope you are. The new issue of DWM comes out on the 25th, but we have a preview as to what the content of Doctor Who magazine will be, and I'm going to be reading over those in just a sec. Uh, Terry, yeah, you're the bomb, Tom. Thank you very much. There is one of my outside my local Chinese takeaway and stole my curry and chips. Listen, right, it's your fault for making them so publicly accessible. We're good you're here. Ah, Thomas Tennant is my favourite Harrys. Listen, right, I know some people are still shocked by that news, but I hope you can all accept me for who I am. Sometimes if it weren't for Harrys, I wouldn't know what was going on in the world of Doctor Who. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. I try, my best to keep everyone informed and stuff. Darius will do one big stream and then edit them into small videos for the cash. Listen, right, I hate the player, not the game. Anyway, do you have a favourite football team, Harry's? I guess it would be Cardiff City FC because I was a season ticket holder there for many years, but I'm not now. I used to go with my dad, but we my dad lives somewhere else now, and we're all very happy. So yeah, that's basically what happened with that. So yeah, that's my answer. Hope that suffices. I think that's partly just down to loyalty to where I live, I guess. I'm wearing a bow tie right now, embracing the Smith after the loss of Big T. You know what? I appreciate that. I still love him. He's still my childhood guy. Still love Smith. He's right there. Pride of place on my wall. But still, yeah. So there's a few things I wanted to go over today. Just little smaller news stories, but I think together they're quite like interesting as a collective. So yeah, we're going to get right into that. If you're just joining the stream, and maybe if you have streamed before, be sure to like the stream. If you want to subscribe during the stream or super chat or whatever, it'll come up somewhere on the screen. You can see the chats also on the screen, or at least it should be. Hopefully, is it on both or is it just on? Yes, it is on both. Good, let's fix that. Right, so yeah, the first thing I wanted to cover was actually something really quite wholesome, actually. So I wanted to cover this because I just think it's really, really cool. And yeah, I just want to shout it out, really. So, in case you missed it, I sort of a few days ago, a person on Ncuti Gatwa's Instagram received a nasty comment. I think they were sort of shipping, Jonathan Groff's character with the Doctor, and that's fine. It's not my thing, but you do you. That's all good. But Ncuti Gatwa saw that they were getting quite a lot of hate for this from somebody apparently, and they messaged them saying, "I'm so sorry you received such a horrible message from that awful guy. He's been blocked and deleted from my account, reported him extensively. I can't stand stuff like that. Really hope you're okay. Lots of love, Shoots." Which I just think is really nice. And it's not the only comment that he made. He did make a follow-up comment, which if I can find it now, is also really nice. So they then respond, "This is so nice of you to say, thank you. It was upsetting, but yeah, I'm okay. I appreciate you chatting with me and being so kind. There will always be bad people, but we can't let them beat us. Love and hope and diversity is at the core of Doctor Who. And I know you, Russell, and the rest of the cast will do a fantastic job." To which he responded, We're looking after the show for you. Promise. Glad you're okay. Which I just think, what a nice guy. You know, I still haven't fully adjusted to the fact that we have a doctor on social media yet. That's still a bizarre novelty. And I think it's just really cool to see Ncuti being such a nice guy to the fans. It's just really nice to see. I said on Twitter, I remarked when I saw this, you know, if he's this good at embracing the Doctor off camera, I can't wait to see, you know, how he embodies that character on camera. It's just a really nice gesture, and it's only made me more excited for his Doctor. Really, like I say, it's just really nice to see that level of fan base and, you know, lead interaction, because it's not really something we've seen before. You know, most Doctors either kind of didn't really they were about at a time that didn't really have social media, or they were older actors who didn't really kind of you know, they weren't inhabiting that world in the same way. Whereas, you know, with Ncuti now, I really feel like it's the first time we have a Doctor who's kind of in that space. So it's just really nice to see him being so communicative with the community and so just nice. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. There's the first thing at the top of the stream because I think it's pretty cool. Darius, you make my day. Thank you. Thank you very much. You got resourceful. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make to be able to cope in 2024. I know. Honestly, even though I've said David is my Doctor, I'm fully willing for that to change in 2024. I have, honest to God, a really, really good feeling about Ncuti Gatwa in general. I just think the whole vibe of his performance in the filming we've seen, his vibe in interviews, just, I don't know, there's just something about him, man. I think he's going to be really something special. I'm also looking forward to Ncuti. Yeah, and then the next thing I wanted to talk about was this. This just came out, and it's actually what prompted me to actually make this news stream, because I was planning on doing a news stream for a little while, but like I say, I kind of wanted a few more things to pile up before I delve in. But Doctor Who Magazine 591, we've had the preview for the next issue, which is out in 3 days, the 25th, and I'll obviously do a little bit of a rundown of all the like major pieces of content in a separate video when that comes out. Obviously, I don't go through all of the magazine because I kind of want to encourage, you know, people to pick up the magazine, because I often leave out, you know, a lot of stuff. But I basically just go through, you know, the bullet points, the big things. Doctor Who Magazine 591, though, includes The Runaway Pride, Alex Kingston, Jamie Matheson, Dan Starkey, Location Manager Alex Moore, The Fact of Fiction, The Wheel in Space, episode 1 to 3, and Liberation of the Daleks, part 8. Man, we're already on part 8 for Liberation of the Daleks, but which for those of you who don't know is the 14th Doctor comic strip with the Daleks. The thing that's interesting me the most is not so much the Dan Starkey interview, although that is cool. Obviously, Dan Starkey is famous Sontaran actor, among other monsters as well. But also, Jamie Matheson is really interesting there, because Jamie Matheson was a writer for the Moffat era, I believe, who did both Flatline and, I think, Oxygen, which are 2 phenomenal episodes. So is he maybe coming back? I know that Doctor Who Production News did the little eyes next to both his and Dan Starkey's names. There's also been hints towards Alex Kingston / River Song content. That was hinted at way back in the last issue in the little next time bit for Doctor Who Magazine. Plus the 60th anniversary poll, so they'll be doing the 5th and 6th Doctors. This is something they've been doing each month. You know, each what's the best story of each era. Some of those ratings, by the way, I can't help but disagree with, but nonetheless, the reason I've not put eyes next to Alex Kingston is that it was advertised in last month's Doctor Who Magazine, so it's probably so it's not something potentially revealing in regards to the TV show. Whereas Jamie Matheson and Dan Starkey could be. I mean, there was a potato in that Russell T Davies post, so maybe the Sontarans come back. I don't know. Because I feel like that's what Dan Starkey is mainly known for playing when it comes to Doctor Who, but it could be something else. And then apparently as well, the Runaway Pride, obviously, it kind of evokes the Runaway Bride, but apparently it's also a reference to Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and the photos of Jonathan Groff, Millie Gibson, and Ncuti Gatwa in Regency era costume. So yeah, I'm wondering if, maybe through the letter from the showrunner segment that Russell does, whether we'll be getting a bit more elaboration on the Regency filming, maybe, based on that title. I'm assuming then, if that's kind of the tagline they're going with, the Runaway Pride, that'll be, the cover will be Ncuti, Millie, Jonathan Groff on the cover, which will be nice. I think that'll be a really nice cover, because we haven't had Ncuti on a cover for a while now. So yeah, that's pretty cool. On the topic of covers, did you enjoy that segue? 6 stories for 6 decades, coming 26th of October this year from Puffin Books, the Decades Collection, a new series of novels each celebrating a different decade from Doctor Who's extraordinary history. 2 hearts plus books. So yeah, these are basically a set of books that, like they say, take place in each decade in which Doctor Who has been around up until the 2010s. It features, I believe, judging by the facial profiles, the First Doctor, the 12th Doctor, the 4th Doctor, the 10th Doctor, the 9th Doctor, and the 11th Doctor. All in different decades. Now, I've seen some confusion around this, so let me just say that they're not exactly theming the Doctors to decades. They just take place in those times. So, for example, you've got the 12th Doctor in the 70s, etc. Yeah, so I mean, they look decent to me. I think they're more like kind of short stories in those decades. In fact, we can probably read on the website what they actually are. But the main reason I want to talk about this, well, there's a couple of reasons actually, but I'll get into it. So just having a look from the 60s, Doctor Who debut to the recent 2010s. Okay, so we go through each story. Christmas 1963. Gerald starts playing a new game, Daleks. It's full of dangers and terrible things, but then it gets out of hand. Desperate for help. What Gerald's apparently really needs right now is the Doctor. That's quite cool. One of them takes place in the 70s. Tension high in the East End. National Front. Fearful for their lives. So yeah, you got a National Front story there. You've got the Doctor and Romana talking to a child genius. And then you've got the 90s one, which is the Doctor and Donna, I think, in, where's this? To visit the nightclub Tripod. Tripod is famous for precisely one thing, the night where 5 young women came together, formed the biggest band of the 90s, the Blood Honeys. The 2000s one, which is, what does it say here? Oh, they mentioned the Cardiff Rift, that's quite cool. And then this one is an Angels one, I think. Which is the 2010s one, which makes sense because 2010s Weeping Angels, that makes sense. But there's a couple of things to note with this. One, they use the horizontal. Is it horizontal? Is that the right word? I think so. The horizontal logo is used for the first time in a while on a piece of merchandise, and I actually really like the way they've incorporated it into the police box top. I think that's really quite nice. I quite like that. I hope that gets used again. But obviously, the other bit of, I guess, Twitter grumblings about this outside of the mismatched decades was the fact that there wasn't a 13th Doctor book out of this collection, because we've had like a bunch of different Doctors. 13 isn't one of them. And I'm going to be 100% honest here. I don't see the issue. I'm going to be 100% honest here. Not all Doctors get featured in every product release. And yes, Judy was the most recent one. But it's also so to say that, she's had I've seen a lot of people say that she didn't have much in the way of like merch and expanded media, which does it confuse me somewhat, because I'd argue she had significantly more than Capaldi ever got. Obviously, I'm not saying that, she had loads, she's nowhere near the levels of like Tennant or even like early Smith. But I don't think necessarily, that Doctor being not included in one book release is kind of really indicative of much of anything. They kind of just, maybe the writers just wanted to use these specific Doctors. I don't really see the huge issue here, and I think it very much is an example of Twitter, I guess. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I just wanted to talk about that because saw a few people talking about that. It's probably a bit of a dead topic by now, but If there's any mods in the chat, there could be some drama happening in the live chat. Is there? Is there? Wait, is there something going on? Theories, do you think Matt Smith will come back even though he doesn't look like he fits the trailers? I am not getting my hopes up for any Doctor returns in the 60th on the basis that if I do that and then it doesn't happen, I'll be disappointed. So I literally on that basis have not even bothered, trying to get like excited for that stuff because I don't want to get excited for something and then when it's not there I go if it's there cool, I'll be over the moon if Matt Smith's there or Peter Capaldi's there. But I don't want to kind of project this idea that he's definitely going to be in it when I don't know, and honestly, I don't want to hype you guys up, and I don't want to hype myself up for something if I don't know it's going to happen for definite. So he could, but like I'm not holding out hope. Now Theories 13 got less books than okay, maybe less books, but you could argue that 13 had like more merchandise in other ways, like in terms of like video games, she probably had the most video game appearances since Matt Smith. She had a ton of weird video game interactable things. Yeah, there were 3 main books for Jodie, I know, but I think she did get merchandise and other things. I feel like she got more figures at least early on than Capaldi because they went to the 3.75-inch stuff. Hey, I'm noticing some tension in the chat. Can we maybe simmer it down a little bit? I don't know what's going on. But maybe just chill out. There's a bit of John Pertwee interviewing William Shatner for 30th birthday. Okay, I haven't seen that. Well, horizontal is horizontal technically, so I was right. Cool. Yeah, so that's fair enough, but that tweet from the director with the photos of Matt was interesting. It was. Part of me just thinks that's like a troll thing. I know that some people obviously are going to read into that, and I understand why. Although perhaps it would have been a weird idea to put that out there while knowing that fans were going to read into it. I don't know. Hi, Theories, do you like Doctor Who? What do you think? 3.75 inches was when figures became crap. I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not. I think both 12 and 13 should have gotten more stuff because I think it's very obvious that the more popular a Doctor is, the more stuff they get. But yeah, I don't think in this instance it's really that big of an issue. But anyway, next thing I want to talk about. There's a Doctor Who Series 14 Block 4 episode details. So I think this is for episode 6. This is from Nerdgasm. They learned that one of the episodes as part of Doctor Who Series 14 Block 4, as well as direct photography of the block, under director Ben Chessel. Ben Chessel, in fact, if I can get it up, he posted some filming onto his Instagram as well. The 4th block of filming began in early April. This new information also corrects the previous belief that Block 3 filming is episodes 14.2 and 14.3. While Series 14 of Doctor Who continues filming, the BBC has begun promoting the 60th anniversary specials. So Nerdgasm has exclusively revealed that Block 4 of Doctor Who Series 14 will partly consist of Episode 6. The information comes from a copy of camera and Steadicam operator James Chesterton's CV, which we discussed in an article about Block 3 filming. This afternoon, an update to Chesterton's CV, Chesterton, I keep thinking of Ian, noted that he worked on Block 4 episode 6. This would confirm that he is that episode 14.6 is part of Doctor Who Series 14 Block 4. Man, that was a mouthful. Given the entirety of his work as a camera operator has been during May, we can deduce that the filming at the end of April that involved Jinx Monsoon and the 15th Doctor is not episode 14.6. I thought it was episode 2, as what I heard. In fact, one would strongly suggest the episode will feature Regency style costumes and guest star Jonathan Groff. So yeah, you can see here If we can have a look here, we got James Chesterton here, CV. He was the camera operator, Steadicam operator on both episode 6 of series 14 as well as episodes 1 and 3 of I assume, because it's Julianne Robinson, I think series 14 as well, and 4 and 5. So yeah, they've been working on a lot, but yeah, also specials as well with Chanya Button. So this guy's been hard at work on Doctor Who, but yeah, we can see here the Block 4, which is what I believe they're filming right now, is episode 6, which is interesting. No. Well, yeah, there's 4 specials for 2023 in that there's the 360th ones, and then we'll get a Christmas one at the end. Richard Iowati would make an awesome Doctor. I don't know. A lot of people say that. I kind of just feel like a lot of it's just kind of based on the fact that he can kind of do the nerd persona thing. Beyond that, I don't know whether he's got the range personally, but maybe. In terms of other GWSR stuff, it's not been a huge week for it. The main thing is we know that this was as of yesterday. Filming is beginning to be set up in I think is it Lee Court or Lake Court in Bristol. There is no public access by automobile or car. It obstructs Leewood's nature reserve. There are more information from some locals later. And then I think Doctor Who filming locations, who goes to all the locations, says that this location appears to be a Lake Court. This location was previously used in the Husbands of River Song. And if you're wondering why we didn't get much filming beyond those initial pictures at Margam Park and Tredegar, that's because Margam Park, I believe, you have to pay to park in there and get inside and stuff. So that's why you didn't see many people getting their iPhones out to do some filming of public stuff, because they couldn't do it. Well, they could, but they have to pay money and have cars, and it's a whole thing. How many episodes in series 14? 8 plus a Christmas special, so 9. Yeah, 9. Unless you put, I guess the Christmas special is part of 60th, which I probably wouldn't, and I doubt they will either. So yeah, probably 9. But yes, 4 specials for 2023. So you get the 3 in November and then a Christmas one, I think. This is as far as we know so far. As far as we know so far. Well, there's a couple more things I want to talk about, specifically 2 more things. Shorter stream today, but I wanted to stream nonetheless. This tweet came out, unfortunately, and it's caused a bit of a ruckus. I saw Doctor Who was trending as a result of these people talking about it, and I just kind of wanted to address it. So someone is saying that Yasmin Finney is the new Rose in Doctor Who. Finney is, and then all of this, right? I'm not going to read it all out. You can read it if you want, but I wanted to highlight this because it annoys me. It annoys me because Yasmin Finney's not playing the new Rose. He's playing presumably Donna's daughter, who is also called Rose. She's not replacing Rose Tyler before you get your knickers in a twist. She's a new character that shares the same name. And it's so obvious to me that these people don't actually care about the show at all, or about the people who watch it. They just care about peddling this narrative when, if you actually do the basic research, that's not what's happening. They're placing this idea that, oh no, Rose is being replaced, when it's just not happening like that. I did a whole video ages ago talking about why this was nonsense, and the fact that it's still going on now just kind of disappoints me. Yasmin Finney, she looks like she's a great actor. I'm sure she'll do great in the 60th. Stop trying to make her out to be something she isn't. She's not replacing Rose. It's a new character. that's also called Rose. That's it. You know, like, my God, you know, just deal with it. I just don't get why as a person, I'm very, like, I've come to be in, like, my, you know, my more mature years, a very live and let live type person. Like, I don't care any way of what you are, you know, as long as if it's Doctor Who as a TV show, I'll watch it. And just in people in general, if you're a good person, I'll love you no matter what. I don't get why that's so hard to understand. I don't get why so many people try so hard to kind of, I don't know, just put people in boxes and kind of make people feel like outsiders when in the end we're all just people at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, just live and let live is what I say. You know, as long as you're not a dickhead, you're good in my book, you know? That's what I say. I just think, wait, there can be yeah, well, yes, yeah, there can be more than one person called Rose. Don't tell them that. Uh, oh God, in Rise of the Cybermen, they recast Rose with the Dog. Exactly, but that just shows you that these people have never watched Doctor Who in their lives and don't actually care. They just want something to be angry about, and I just think life is too short for this to be a constant thing. You know, regardless of you, I just how do you get the energy? Honestly, like no one was mad when, you know, Rose was a dog in the parallel universe. No one accused Doctor Who of having an anti-dog agenda or anti-human agenda, right? It's just silly. Just just annoys me so much. Like, this stuff is just such BS. I agree with Darius, they're insecure and want to hate someone. Exactly. It's like, you know, not to use the phrase, but I think it's very accurate here and very apt. Go outside and touch grass. If it genuinely bothers you that a trans actress is in Doctor Who, just don't watch it. If it really bothers you that much. But, you know, just let us all enjoy it, you know? If you don't want to watch it, fine. But personally, I don't care. I think all sides of Doctor Who fandom want to be outraged, it seems. I mean, yeah, I mean, luckily, think like a lot of the bigoted stuff has toned down a lot in recent sort of months, which I am happy about. But I do just sort of want, like, I think it always happens though, at least in the fandom in particular, like when there's a gap, there's always just like, I think there's a lot of frustration, not even frustration, but just like kind of people get antsy, you know, waiting for stuff to happen, and it's like, guys, chill, you know, it's fine. Uh, you know, like I've seen people kind of getting mad at like the fact that David or that Jodie regenerated into David and it's not a proper regeneration. It's like, man, this was 6 months ago. Like, and obviously that's a very different thing, but you get my point. Sorry, I was going to read something then and I lost it. These people make it clear enough they don't have intellectual capacity to bother to understand this. Yeah, exactly, exactly. As a trans man, it makes me so happy to see people like me and my peers. Exactly, and I feel the same way when I see you know, Ruth Madley going on to Doctor Who in 2023 in the 60s specials. You know, as a someone with cerebral palsy and a wheelchair user, basically my whole life. That means a ton to me. That means the world. And yeah, like it's just obviously, you know, I think a lot of people say, "Oh, but why does it matter?" It's like because for a lot of people, they don't get to see that. You know, I didn't for the longest time. There weren't that many people in wheelchairs on TV when I was growing up, and to see that now, it's really nice. You know, like I remember, you know, people getting. I remember when it was kind of suggested that what do you call it? The TARDIS in Series 14 was going to have like a ramp or like a little, just a little thing to make it easier for wheelchair to go. And I saw some people getting mad at it. It's like, why? It doesn't affect anything. Like, you know, it just seems like, oh, it just makes it slightly more accessible for those who perhaps struggle to get up that step. Oh no, it's terrible. Sound the alarms. Everything's gone too far. It's like, nah. Representation is fine, and someone like RTD will do it well. Look how great Sim was. Exactly, you know, RTD, one of the best guys in the game. Exactly. See, with 13, Paul, I'm not a huge 13 fan, but I will admit, like, a lot of the stuff that she got, especially early on, was very, like, uncalled for. Like, the bigotry there was very uncalled for. I'm not a big 13 fan, but it's more just due to the writing than anything else. I'm so happy for you hitting 20k. You deserve it, and I always love your videos. Glad to have. So thank you so much. That means a lot. But yeah, in conclusion, chill out. But yeah, with the whole like to go on a slightly different tangent, the whole thing about like Jodie not having a proper regeneration. It's like she did though. Just because you don't like who the regeneration was at the end, just because. So yeah, going back briefly to this whole idea that Jodie didn't have a proper regeneration, just because you didn't like who she changed into in the end, it doesn't change the fact that she still regenerated, And in fact, I'd make the case that the regeneration has never been defined by who comes after it. The scenes are almost entirely different. One is setting up a new thing, the other is the swan song moment for that Doctor. I mostly argue, as someone who, like I say, is not a huge 13th Doctor fan, I really liked her final scene. And I don't get why that scene would be ruined just because you don't like the fact that it's David Tennant again. It's just, that annoys me as well. It's like, she did regenerate, you just don't like the outcome, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but she did regenerate, Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about, very briefly, was this. Big boy David Tennant was at the Basingstoke Comic-Con, and I just wanted to show you some of the clips of him answering questions, because they're really, really sweet. Is the desktop audio on? It's not. Better turn that on. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you a couple of these because I think they're really fun. I'll show you mainly the Doctor Who ones because I was watching these today and I just had the biggest smile on my face.
In the middle. You can stand up or just talk into the mic. Thank you.
I know that you grew up with Doctor Who.
I did.
So I was wondering what it's like to know that other people grew up with you as Doctor Who.
Oh, what a lovely.
Look at his face.
Oh. It is a lovely question, and it actually means quite a lot. Actually, there are times when I get a little bit emotional about it because it meant so much to me as a kid. It really was the show that I loved, and it really kind of opened my brain. There's something about that particular notion, the idea of Doctor Who. It's so fantastical and so real at the same time.
Oh no. Wait, did it stop? Why has it stopped? Twitter video has gone bad, by the way. Ever since Musk took over, like it's just not been good. Just push pause and get through things. I understand that. Although I do sort of understand RTD.
It's so relatable, and yet it's like nothing else on earth. And I know how much it meant to me, that when I meet people who've grown up watching me, that I've been connected to that kind of a sort of experience for them.
Isn't that sort of a time lordy time?
It is very much so.
Time space continuum.
It's very wibbly-wobbly time lordy, isn't it? I know, and it's such a rare thing. It's such a rare thing that any show.
It's just really nice. There's this one, and then there's the one that I wanted to highlight because I just thought it was funny. A girl asked if he could do the B reel. I just think it's really funny. I don't use B reel, but it's basically like a thing where you can post what exactly you're doing in that moment, and they got David to do it, which I just think is really cute. You can see the picture there. Very fun. Yeah, so I just kind of want to highlight that because I thought it was nice. There's a bunch of other questions that was asked by David. David said, sorry, 14 inch. Let's hope he isn't the 25th Doctor. Yeah. God, you're just giving me. I was going to make a joke then, but I was like, you know what, I won't, just in case. But yeah, that's basically all the main news stuff I wanted to cover. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk to you guys about before I left. Like I said, shorter stream today. It's hot, by the way. Is anyone else hot? Like, it's warm. Like, the UK is having its first bit of nice weather in a little bit, which is nice. Or at least for me. The wheelchair thing was funny because all classic TARDISes were accessible. That's true. I mean, some of the police boxes, I've always said, I think I would struggle to get into. I think it was more the front, the exterior that was kind of shown to be different. But yes, the classic TARDISes are accessible. However, I still think it's okay to be excited about the new TARDIS being wheelchair accessible as well, even though, yeah, like you say, they were accessible in Classic Who, but it's nice to see that that's the case again. The TARDIS being more accessible affects no one except the people it helps. It's just a really sweet thing, and being mad at it, it's like being mad at buildings driving elevators. Yeah, pretty much. I've seen people want 14 to regenerate into Jodie and then have her regenerate straight away into she. Why complicate it even more? I can say pretty confidently that that's not going to happen. And I also think, here's what I don't understand about this, right? If you are a 13th Doctor fan, surely you wouldn't want her ending to be arbitrarily changed for the sake of, I don't know, some bizarre continuity purpose. I'm also like 100%, I'm like 99% sure that Jodie won't be in the 60th, and I can also say that for most of the other sort of new series Doctors. That's just my hunch. I could be wrong, but at this point I do doubt it. But yeah, I kind of agree. Like, she's still regenerated. It's just a different regeneration. Like, I always find it funny when, Doctor Who fans are like, oh, do something different, and then the show will do something different. And it'll be like, no, not that. Like, the whole idea of, what was it? There was, like, that whole thing as well with the trailer, when the trailer came out of, oh, it's too early to do a trailer, but then also, the trailer didn't show enough, the trailer's too long. Yeah, all I hear when someone says 40 should revert to 13 for another regen team. Yeah, it's like, is it really that deep? And the thing is, as well, what I find funny about this is you'll have a lot of people saying that, oh, Jodie deserves a full regen into Ncuti or whatever, right? Like, the thing is, actors, when you ask them questions like this, do not, and I promise you, they do not give a damn. Jodie and Tennant were sending WhatsApps to each other when those scenes were being filmed. They're fine. They're friends. If anything, it's kind of nice that they get to pass it on to each other, because I think David was the first one that Jodie spoke to when she was cast, and the same thing kind of happened in the reverse. I think that's quite sweet in its own way. The actors themselves do not care. Jodie got a scene, and as far as she's concerned, she did her era. Whatever happens after that, I think so many Doctor Who fans, and this is kind of something I've been noticing a lot, like, they're so kind of used to like things going a certain way that whenever anything deviates from it, it's like this big, oh, but that's the tradition, it's the tradition that every few years we get a brand new showrunner and all the team is new, and it's like, yeah, that does historically happen. It doesn't mean it's written in stone, though. Like, just because, often there'll be a completely new team like there was for the Moffat era or the Chibnall era, it doesn't mean that's always the case. In fact, with a lot of the Classic Who stuff, if you look into it, because I actually have looked into this, and also I've watched a lot of videos and stuff and episodes of Classic Who, a lot of the time, producers of previous eras would stay on for a while to guide the process. Terrance Dicks stayed on following the ending of the Pertwee era, going into the Baker era for a bit, to like guide the show forwards. It's not that weird of a concept. It's not as much of a introducing the new scene as most fans see it. It's an ending for each Doctor. Traditions are there to be subverted. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know about you, but it gets kind of predictable watching regeneration scenes because we all know who's going to be there, yeah, because they're announced months before. What was cool, I thought, about 13's regeneration was we didn't know who. Like, I think we kind of knew it was going to be David, but there was still that air of is it going to be Tennant? Is it going to be Ncuti? You know, there was a kind of which way are they going to go with it? I think that made her regeneration far more interesting to watch than just knowing it was going to be Ncuti or David. Barry Let's Stay 2, yeah, exactly. Like, it's not that uncommon. Like, the classic series brought back people all the time. Again, Terrence Dicks came back to do the Five Doctors, I think. Robert Holmes, after his era, came back to do, I think, Caves of Androzani. And some of those stories are like some of the most highly regarded by fans. So when people say that, oh, you know, this is just Doctor Who looking backwards or whatever, I was like, I don't think it is. I kind of just think this is how it's always sort of worked, you know? Need to do showrunners after RTD. I agree, but I kind of see why they did it for RTD. Because I think they kind of needed an element of stability there. Like, because Chibnall even said, and it's not an attack on him at all, he said that there was a point where he thought Power of the Doctor would be the last episode. So when you're the BBC in that position, and you need someone to carry on the torch, that still just kind of makes sense, you know? Like, from a logistical point of view. Maybe people are asking for change aren't the same people who are complaining. Wait. After having been away from Doctor Who since Revolution of the Daleks, I'm really looking forward to getting the series with David Tennant. Yeah, like that's the thing as well. I think some people they get quite territorial over like Doctor Who. It's like I get it, you know, it's special to all of us. But I also think like when people are kind of afraid of the idea of new people getting on board, it's not a perspective I ever really understand because it's like. As far as I'm concerned, the more the merrier, you know? Is Graham Harper still working? I don't know. Be cool if they got him back to direct an episode, though. Because they got Reg Solale back, so yeah, that'd be pretty epic. I feel like how good Moffat was at writing strong characters, E.G. River, Amy, and I think Jodie would really shine under a Moffat-written adventure. Possibly, I also do think, though, in fairness, to use the word, Moffat could be very horny sometimes, and I almost can't imagine 13 with that writing style. However, would be interesting to see her written by another showrunner, preferably Russell. But RTD is the first creator to return as the head. Writers returned for normal stories rather than lead. That's true. However, like I say again, it's not that odd to like have, and I think as well, what people need to bear in mind is that the way Doctor Who goes about this whole thing of having a new team every few years, that's not how the majority of TV works. Like, Doctor Who is very unique in that aspect. Doctor Who has still been largely, you know, a lot more diverse in terms of its crews over the years than most other shows. Most other shows stick to the same crew. What's unique about Doctor Who is that it changes, and even with a lot of returning faces, we are still getting that. You know, we're still getting new faces. So I don't know. I do get what you mean, but I just don't think it's as weird as some people say. I reckon Sim will be in the 60th as Sim and RTD teased in the comments of the 60th announcement. Maybe, but they could just be friends, you know? Like, part of me thinks they could do that. Another part of me, though, kind of doesn't want the Master in any form to come back for a little bit because, like I say, you know, I did a whole video on it a while back. You know, I kind of feel like the Master needs a break, you know? But that's just me. Hold on, let me just... There's something I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, whilst I was here, so they announced that Jodie Whittaker will be in a new short film, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, don't know much about it, but maybe I'll watch it. It will be interesting, because I haven't really seen Jodie in much other than Doctor Who, so I might watch this. I don't know. championing female and non-binary filmmakers. So that's pretty cool, pretty nice. Dr. Who's Dr. Whitaker will lead a short film fund aimed at championing female and non-binary writers. That's pretty cool. So is she leading like a short film fund or a short film? Let me have a look. Whitaker will feature in or voice the final film. Okay, cool. With the intention of increasing visibility of the project and the filmmaker selected. That's pretty cool. Wanted to shout that out because I saw that doing the rounds on Twitter. That's pretty nice of her to do that. I got a new clip from Basingstoke Comic Con about the specials. If you want me to send it to you, yeah, go for it. I don't think I saw one about the specials, so you might have seen something that I did not see. So yeah, feel free. Plenty of other Time Lords, the Monk, the Valiant, etc. Yeah, exactly. I heard Theories in the 60th. I wish. Oh, I wish. I wish I was. I tell you what, if I was, I wouldn't be able to stream to you because I'd be on cloud 9 and I would have come down. I saw a comment the other day that was like, I think they should let Ferry cameo in Doctor Who because of like how many videos he's done on it, and basically, just kind of being so, kind of involved in it for a while. It's like, it's a lovely sentiment, but I never know how to respond to things like that because it's like, I don't really think the BBC know who I am. I'm not going to say I'd ever say no to a cameo, but I don't think they really know me. Darius would do Big Finish. I mean, again, I have not been asked. I would not say no. I was realizing this actually, and I might make this my next subscriber goal. Fun fact: did you know? Hold on. We are only just over 4,000 subscribers behind Big Finish. So hypothetically, we could overtake the Big Finish YouTube channel in subscribers in the next few months. I think that's possible. They may have Russell T Davis talking about Dark Season in, I believe that's a Bad Wolf studio there, and they may have Anjali Mahindra and Daniel Anthony, and they may have all these nice trailers. But you know what we have, chat, that they don't have? We have the spirit. I think we could do it. We're gonna beat Big Finish. That's the next goal. We're gonna beat him. That's gonna be the next goal. And then they'll have to give me a Big Finish role. Just like 14's close to Derek's chair appears in the regen. Exactly. That's definitely what's gonna happen. Oh, I only get the digital ones, Heretic. So I don't know about the CD yet, but I've heard they can take a while. I should do that. Should I do that? Should I DM Big Finish and be like, hey, if I ever take you? No, I'm not going to do that. It would be quite funny, though. Do you reckon Russell has written every episode of Series 14? No, I reckon there'll be some new writers. Like I say, Jamie Matheson is being interviewed for Doctor Who Magazine in a couple of days, so it'd be really cool if they announced him as a writer, because he did, as I said, Flatline and Oxygen, which are really, really cool. I've sent you DM on Twitter. Okay, I'll have a look.
Move on. It was the right time to move on, and all that.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got it. All right, let's give it a look. Okay, so apparently this is David Tennant being asked about the specials at Basingstoke Comic Con.
To move on. It was the right time to move on and all that. But I was very aware, it's a very particular special show that has a kind of enthusiasm. It attracts a love that's not really like anything else. So I always knew that it wouldn't really be like anything else, and it's not. So then to get a chance to revisit that, not full time, just a little dance around the park again, was just felt like too good to be true, really, to get to dip a toe back in the waters, but to know that you were then handing it on to somebody brilliant and a great team who were going to keep it. You know, I wasn't even going back long enough to break it. But I was going back long enough to have a really nice, joyous time, and that's exactly what I did. So Russell T Davies was back, Catherine Tate was coming back. It would have been churlish to say no.
There we are. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Another bit of the Basic Scope con that I found really funny was when he was having a little banter with the sign language interpreter. That was really fun. Sarah's taking Mr. TARDIS' live stream spot. Better than staring at the space in my collection for the missing episodes. Yeah, honestly, with when it comes to live streams, I enjoy doing them, but I'm not as regular at them as Mr. TARDIS is. Although I like to think that's kind of what do you call it? Kind of think that's what was I gonna say? I kind of think that's I have genuinely just had a brain fart for a moment. Give me a sec. I kind of think that's offset by the fact that I like upload basically daily at this point. And even now, you know, technically because I've live streamed, I haven't missed an upload day. So there you go. Do you prefer we watch on YouTube or Twitch? I only do YouTube at the moment, and I do prefer it generally as a platform. I've heard that Twitch, and like I do use Twitch occasionally. Twitch has probably got more live stream features, but I think video-wise, obviously YouTube is the superior platform. So yeah, I have considered getting into Twitch, but Thary, do you think we'll get any potential reveals at Comic-Con? Since I believe Russell and the team are attending this year. Yes, I do, because Russell said in Doctor Magazine that he kind of name drops Comic-Con. He says no promises, but he kind of ooh, there's been a door that's been shut. He kind of suggests that Comic-Con is going to be a thing that happens this year. So I'm fully expecting the big trailer to be at Comic-Con and maybe a panel as well. Yeah, I think that'll happen. Are you going to interview Adam Martin after his second Big Fish review with Chris Rice? It's weird. Years ago, Adam Martin did a podcast with me like years ago, back when I had like 3,000 subscribers and a terrible webcam. And now, you know, he's out here doing Big Finish. Great guy. I love Adam Martin, though. He's fantastic. I met him at some of the BFI events. Lovely guy. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy in terms of like getting to work with Big Finish and all that. So yeah, nothing but praise for Adam Martin. Do you think we'll see another attempt of Series 11 approach to never returning monsters, villains during RCD2 at some point? I mean, I think this is the thing. I think an era can feel, or a series rather, can feel fresh without necessarily like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like, I think you can have a fresh feeling series whilst also having some returning villains. With that being said, I trust Russell T Davies to give us a series with all new villains much more than I do Chibnall. I never really found many of his villains very threatening personally, so Twitch is really bad for growing a platform. You want to move to another platform, i.e. TikTok, instant audience. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that like growth on Twitch is like you can't really organically grow. You kind of have to have another audience and then basically transpose that into Twitch. Which maybe I could do, but then again, I'm not that big, you know, 20k on YouTube is like, it's great for me, but I don't know whether it would translate to Twitch that well. Where is the Cyberman head? It's still with Confused Adipose. It's still with Confused Adipose for various purposes. I guess I could say why, right? I don't think he'd be that mad at me saying why. Basically, Confused Adipose, Joe, he borrowed it to use in his fan film. I can actually show you exactly where it is. Hold on 1 second. Let me go to the Confused Adipose. 1 second. Where is it? Trailer, teaser, that one. I think it's this one. So, yeah, I know a bunch of the people in this, but if we skip all the way forward, I'm not going to play a whole trailer. I'll just skip all the way forward to here. See that guy? On a fully grown cyber body? Wait, it's loading. See that guy? That Cyberman? That's Dennis. He's fully grown. He makes a cameo in Joe's new fan film. So that's where he's been, in case you were wondering. He borrowed him. Yeah, so I'm hoping, he's told me that I think we're going to meet up in August, so I'm hoping to get Dennis back then. And maybe I'll do like some funny sketch with it or something like that. Darius, do you own the 10th Doctor Charles playset? I don't. I used to own the 11th Doctor one back when I was a kid, but I don't need more. I do kind of want the 10th Doctor one, but to be honest, it's knowing where to put it, because it is big. The door handle behind you turned slightly. Did it? How ominous. I'm being broken into. Do you think Fuse Admiral will give it back? Yeah. Arrived late, good to see Dennis off the bat. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to head off, but I stayed longer than I was planning to, but I've had fun. Are you going to KaleidoWho 60 Years of Doctor Who in July? I don't know what that is. What is that? I heard something about that. Hold on. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look this up real quick. Okay, so it's at the Midlands Arts Centre. It is TV archivists, Kaleidoscope, for a Doctor Who anniversary event with a difference. This is the Doctor Who you've never seen it before. Delve into a whole day's worth of fascinating footage from the BBC and Kaleidoscope archives, spanning numerous classic incarnations from the 60s up to the early 90s. That's pretty cool. I haven't booked it. The problem is, like, there's so many things I want to go to. Like, there's like an event that's coming up somewhere, and Arthur Darville's going to be there, and I'd like to do that, but it's just travel. You know, if any of you watch my convention videos, you'll know travel for me is a nightmare. You know, wheelchair, public transport, all that. It's just it's a nightmare. You know, there's so many things I'd like to do. I'm kind of hoping, touch wood, because like I've been kind of uploading a lot, so I've been trying to kind of get a bit more money in the bank. I'm kind of hoping, touch wood, sort of around later in the year when Doctor Who stuff's ramping up to do a couple more things. I know that there's a Cardiff Comic Con in October, and that's right by me, so I'll definitely go to that, which is at the Motorpoint. So if any of you go to that, I'll probably be there. But yeah, that does look cool. But like I say, you can't do everything, you know. Unseen animation, that is pretty cool. Yeah, there's lots of things I'd like to do. It's just kind of having the capacity. Radio Times has an article about RTD reuniting with Russell Tovey. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't read it. I'll tell you what, I might do it later. I know that Willox has just joined. I'm just about to end. I've been over about an hour. But thank you all for watching. Please like the stream if you enjoyed it. Comment down below anything we talked about. You are not getting the head back until you overtake Big Finish. Yeah, maybe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Darius, I've just declared independence. Yes, I have. See you in a bit, everyone. Bye-bye.